What's going on, everyone? You're back with your boy Jono for another quick math lesson. Today we're going to learn about compound interest, and this is the interest that happens in the real world. Being on top of how small things can change a huge amount of money in the long term is incredibly important. And this idea of compound interest is central to all of it. So with our simple interest formula, we get the same amount of money every single year, or we earn the same amount of interest. And we're just going to look at a really big example just to highlight what I mean. So let's say that I'm super rich and I've got $1 million and I'm going to invest it at 10% per annum for 1 year and for 2 years. So to find out how much money I make after 1 year, I just do 1 million multiplied by 0.1 or 10% multiplied by 1, and that's equal to 100 grand. Pretty good year of not doing anything. But if I want to work out how much money I'm making after 2 years, all I've got to do is change that n. So I do 1 million times 0.1 times 2, and that's equal to double, or 200 grand. And that makes a lot of sense. But if I was really on top of things, I might take out that first 100 grand that I made to increase the principal for the next year. Because I don't have just $1 million after year one, I've got $1.1 million, the principal would then change. So for my second year, instead of doing 1 million, I'm doing 1.1 million multiplied by 0.1 multiplied by 1. In this example, I'm making 110 grand, which is 10 grand more than I made in the first example. So this is a way easier way to make a lot of money quickly. So the reason that this works is that I'm earning interest on the interest that I made last year. So this is how interest works in the real world, with the principal being updated every single time you get paid out. So that means that the simple interest formula is just not going to cut it for us moving forward. So this is the definition of compound interest. The interest kind of stacks on top of each other every single time with an updated principal. What we're earning is interest on our interest. So we've got to account for this for the next pay cycle. Compound interest is either really good or super bad. You're either going to earn a lot more money on your investments, or you might have to pay back bigger loans because of this idea of compound interest, or the interest stacking on top of each other. The formula does look a little bit harder than the simple interest formula, but it still has a lot of our key ideas: the principal, the rate, and n. So for this, we've got FV, which stands for future value, is equal to the principal multiplied by 1 plus the rate, all to the power of n. What's really important to note is that with the simple interest formula, we just found the amount of interest, but the future value is the principal plus the interest earned. So if we're making money, this number is going to be bigger than our principal at the start of the question. So the biggest difference between simple interest and compound interest is how n, or the time, impacts the outcome of our investment. So we're going to invest the same amount of money for this example for 5 years and for 50 years. So to find out our future value after 5 years, we just have to do the future value is equal to 10,000 bracket 1 plus 0.15 or 15% to the power of n. This is equal to $20,113. So we made about 10 grand in 5 years, which is unbelievable. So because I'm going to keep it in for 10 times longer, am I going to earn about 10 times more? Let's say 100 grand. Or because we've got this idea of interest on top of interest, maybe I'm going to make heaps more. Maybe I'll make $1 million. Let's see how this works out for this example. So this time I've got 10,000 bracket 1 plus 0.15 to the power of 50. And if you type that into your calculator, you might think you made a mistake. It's not 1 million, it's $10 million. So we can see here that the interest on top of the interest is really driving massive profits. So this shows that time is incredibly important, and the reason for that is because it is a power or an index in this question. This means that it's going to get a lot bigger very quickly. If you just think about 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, that number gets really big really fast. So the same thing happens with our money. Because it's a power, the more time periods we see, the bigger the number gets, and it happens really quickly. So because time is so important, it is something we have to pay attention to in really close detail when we are answering these questions. In the next lesson, we're going to see how credit card companies and mortgages can just change what the time periods are to make you pay a lot more money. And we can see how investing in different companies that pay more regularly can increase your earnings significantly. So please come back for the next lesson where we talk about, hey, what happens when these periods aren't just 1 year? Thanks so much for watching this lesson, and I'll see you later.